Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my review of the recent updates to Mirumok Ruins. In a recent patch from the making of this video, 3-man group grinding has been encouraged to try in Mirumok Ruins. This party grind will produce a loot for up to a max of 3 people, while the mobs themselves drop junk loot that is valued at 17,500 silver a piece, and also having the potential to drop Valtara belts. So today, I wanted to test some different angles with friends to give you guys an idea of how much you could make here with certain gear averages. I would also like to start off by noting that this is a great XP spot. There still are better spots for experience, but this is a good one nonetheless. Also, make sure that you have the proper node unlocked for this area. I made the mistake of unlocking the Mirumok Ruins node when it ended up actually being the Hollow Forest node. Moving on. So within our first group of grinding, we pulled together a group average of around 230 AP with Tet Nuver, just to see if this would be a viable grind for people with this kind of gear score. Now going into this, we didn't really have too crazy expectations, and we also were not using elixirs and wanted to get more of an organic feel just to see of what we'd be making within the hour. To our surprise, we actually finished off relatively well, finishing off close to around that 1700 mark in trash loot within the hour, and then special deals on top of that. Taking a further look, the hourly average finished off at around 30 to 35 million silver, including special deals, and this was a lot better than we had expected. Now, in this hour, we've changed up with a group with an average of around 240 AP with Tet Kudum plus elixirs. So I'm not going to delay this any further, and let me just get into showing you the results of this hour. We managed to finish off much closer to 2,400 junk loot within the hour, and I do want to remind you that I messed up the node, so with this 1 hour grind, we were using a level 1 node. And doing some quick math and calculating for our hourly averages, including the special deals for this hour, we nearly pulled out with around 50 million without a Valtara belt drop, and this alone is quite impressive to me. The Valtara belt drop rate will vary from person to person, as RNG is RNG. But just to quickly show you, the average price will be around about 27 million per belt if you are to be dropped one. And earlier, we also managed to get really lucky and obtain a pry belt, so an additional 80 million silver will always come in handy. So that's it. I just wanted to give you an idea of what the hourly averages are looking like between a variety of gear scores. I don't see any AP cap here, so prices will vary between what the group averages are. Now moving forward, I am going to do a very basic explanation of how the Mirumok mobs will work. I'm not going to be showing a rotation per se in this video, as making a rotation here is actually super easy to do. I'm just going to explain how these mobs work and what to be aware of while grinding from what I've learned. Now, if this next part of the video isn't for you, please don't feel obligated to watch. I'm going to say thank you very much for watching, and I hope that this was helpful. Moving on for those who've chosen to stay for the rest of the video. Here I am right now, deep in the beautiful forest of Kama. I'm in Mirumok territory right now, and you can see that I'm by some of the mobs. So what you're going to want to be focusing on as a party and as a group are these statues that you actually see right here. These statues are what you want to activate in order to start the mobs. But most importantly, you don't want these to be destroyed. As soon as these get destroyed, the mobs will actually start to despawn. So we go ahead and we start by trying to aggro the tower. You're eventually going to see that the spikes that are around it are going to expand. As soon as it expands, it's going to represent that the node has started. So as you can see right there, watch out for these red circles that you see where those mobs spawn. They do deal damage, and sometimes it can add up. And these little guys are what you're going to want to focus on killing. They're relatively easy to kill as well. So my recommendation is just find a spot that's relatively a good distance away from the tower, and then just go ahead and start fighting the mobs. They will continue to feed in to where you are standing and where you're grouped up So they will just be grouped up to where you guys are. As they start to drop, you'll notice they may spawn around the pillar. So don't be afraid to rotate around the pillar as some of them spawn, but just always keep in mind of this tower, because sometimes things get a little crazy and flashy with a lot of people around. Keep in mind of where you are, where the tower is, and what you're doing. Once that is done, either one of two things will happen. Either no more mobs will spawn and the tower will stay alive, and that's good. That means you did a good job. Or this tower will start to blink and it will self-destruct, and then all of the mobs will die. So I'm gonna give it a second here, and I'm gonna allow the tower to get to where it needs to, so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so here we are. You notice that the tower just went red there, and then it self-destruct, and look, all the mobs do die and they do not drop loot for you. So your objective is to kill that tower before that happens. And then if you've done so, or if the tower self-destructs, it's simply just move on to the next one that you'll find closest to you. It's really easy to form rotations in this area because these statues are relatively close to one another. As you can see, the one was back there, this one's here, and then you can see another here. I think there's another further up the hill as well. So crafting a successful rotation isn't really that hard to do. I find within groups, I can only manage about 4 of them, sometimes 5, really depending on what we're doing. So don't feel the need to make a massive rotation. There's lots of room here, there's lots of space, and yeah, have fun.